Greetings, everyone. This is Gerard, editor-in-chief of Filipino Soul Magazine, aka SGIB Magazine. It stands for Soldiers Got Intentions, Leave That. And everyone should be soldier for something: a dream, goal, an idea, a train of thought, something. And on the PBG's production, it stands for Photos by Gerard, the best and freelance publicity photographer, and CEO of the Borough Corporation, which is the not-for-profit entity of my magazine, of my business. Borough Corporation stands for Be Ever Remembering Your Love. Okay, so right now I'm still in Ayala, Philippines. If you look over here, I'm going to put over here. I'm going to hold it here for a couple minutes while we talk till you kind of focus in on it. But you see there's smoke coming up over there. There's another fire here. I was told that there's some residents. Over here in this direction, they had the mall burning. And a couple of nights ago, in this direction, they had a tanker that had crashed and a driver was killed. But for some reason or other, it's like Rome. Ayala seems to be burning. But anyway, in the meantime, you know, until it gets here, I'll knock on wood that it doesn't. This is the beautiful weather here in the Philippines. I know you guys in New York are about ready to have rain. Vegas, I don't really talk about Vegas too much weather because really, I don't care. You know, Vegas is a nice place to visit. And I stayed there for 2 years, but I had a few things happen to me that I would talk about in the book. You know, when I get around to writing it. I mean, there's some really unusual things. I was under the threat of I mean, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to go into it. But anyway. It's funny because yesterday we went, this morning I went to play basketball. I met a young man here. I'm going to interview him too. His name is Stefan. I'm going to have him on, a very young entrepreneur who's here in the Philippines. And like me, once he came here, he says, hey, I'm not going, he's from Belgium. He said, I'm not going back. Look at this is great. The rest of everything. I mean, let me tell you, man, the Philippines is the place to be. And if you ever wonder why it's the happiest place in the world to be, it's like this, man. Like this. The girls, the economy, you know, the government. We both agree that President Duterte is doing a great job, you know, in trying to make his country safe for children and old people. I think those are his focus, to make sure that people have a good quality of life here, you know, and it's good. The cigarettes have gone up here. The tax, you know, they went from like, I think 75 pesos to like 100 pesos or something like that. But then it was expected that it would because Duterte cut the tax for a lot of its citizens, that if you're making under 9,000 pesos a month, which is roughly about $120, 100 something a month, that you don't have to pay taxes at all. And businesses that are making less than 500,000 a month, you know, don't have to pay taxes, or it went down from 50% taxes down to 20 something percent of their gross earnings, which is good. But then he also said that a lot of the cost of imports and exports were going to go up. Some things weren't going to go up, you know, but some things will go up. So it was expected, you know, people. Okay, I'm working. I'll let you know in the interview. But here, give me. This is Diamond. She can't wait to get on camera. Let me lower it. There's some things I wanted to tell you before, but you know, a woman. Sometimes she's very impatient and wants to say now. So Diamond, say hello.
Hello.
Okay, this is Diamond, everybody.
Hello to all viewers.
Yes. Okay, so tell them, talk to them. Here they are. This is your audience. this is what you want. She by my Facebook has been, you know, one of the most thorn in our side, or in her side, mostly because I've been on Facebook for over 10 years, and a lot of you who've been with me for a long time know me. You know, I post a lot of things. I post my Make Your Mind Up Fast moments. Make Your Mind Up Fast moments is from a song from Tupac called Can You Get Away? And virtually what it says, that we all find ourselves sometimes in situations that the reason we do things is because, you know, nobody knows. So he says, make your mind up fast, nobody knows. And I was talking to someone today, Stefan, a matter of fact, and I told him, you know, when I got out of prison in 1999, you know, and mind you, I've not had a pair of handcuffs on me since, and I always need to say that, and that's been close to 20 years, because it is easy to do the right thing. You know, I was concerned about my image, I guess would be the best way to say. You know, once I got online, I knew I wasn't going to use profanity, I know I wasn't going to talk about any sexual exploitation, or not exploitation, or episodes, or anything inappropriate. That was something that I didn't want to do. And whenever I posted, I wanted to make sure that it was, PG, it was harmless and more or less looked at my image, But then, after I got to Vegas, or after I was, got to a point where I said, you know what, let me be true to thyself. You have to be true to yourself. And I decided to post a lot more stuff on my Facebook, on my YouTube, that was about my make your mind up fast moments. What it was I was into. Whether if I was moving too fast, and those of you who don't know what moving too fast means if I was on drugs. It's a lot easier, more palatable when you say, well, I was moving too fast, then you don't focus on the word drugs. Or if I said I used to be a drug dealer, I said I used to be a pharmacist. Or I don't say, oh, she was a hoe. I say she was a street entertainer. See, because sometimes I think it's a matter of how we say things, or how we interpret things, that kind of controls the way an individual would think about you or think about the situation. So oftentimes I say when I was moving too fast. So anyway, I decided Make Your Mind Up Fast came from that song, Can You Get Away? And it was about Tupac, which I did in New York. This is what I used to do. Before the song came out, it's not like, while I was moving too fast and there was a street entertainer, whatever it is, and I'm driving, I said, look, hey, we both do the same thing, can you get away? You want to take a ride? Let's go to the beach. Let's do something normal. In spite of what we're doing, maybe killing ourselves in some people's eyes, but let's do something out of the norm. Can you get away? And that's what I mean by I start posting my Can You Get Away moments. So unfortunately, Diamond, I've been on Facebook for like about 10 years, or go 9 years for sure, because I get memories for 9 years, and a lot of these things are coming up as our memories 1 year, 2 years, and I post them. And sometimes, she might take the time to go through a lot of stuff in quest to want to know who I am, which is a big mistake, and a lot of times the culture is different, the culture is different, and the understanding of what an American culture is, as opposed to Filipino culture is different. Like, you want to say something?
Because the culture here in the Philippines is almost there in the Philippines is very loyal. So that's why I feel worried about you.
She says it's very loyal. Yes, the Philippines are loyal. I guess you could say the Filipino women are kind of like like when they mate for life. In a perfect world it would be like that. Of course, we know that doesn't happen because the matters of the heart are the matters of the heart. But then they are known to be a lot more loyal and a lot more submissive in a way, the words that with their partners. So of course, with my having so many, sometimes it's inconceivable for her to understand that this is the American culture. Now, when I say the American culture, it's so much that my culture, like she says, I'm a playboy. No, I'm not a playboy. I'm a player. I'm a player. There's a difference. But how do you explain that? Like there's a difference. And
Because for me, if I had someone, only one, not collect the more than one, stick to one.
Yeah, stick to one. Yeah, that's the loyalty. But see, you can't hold something against someone who's done for 5 years ago or 4 years ago or something like that. See, that's not right. You see, it's not right. It's to hold someone, or hold someone accountable for their past, and hold it in the future. We do that way too many times in America. We do it when it comes to ex-felons, I'm saying, ex-felons who get out of prison, and once they hear the word prison, then they automatically have this perception of who you are. But they don't even look at the fact that you've been out for so long. Like, when I used to speak at high schools, I used to speak at youth groups, NAACP, things of that nature. And I would stay on the stage, and while I'm talking, I'm dropping all these sheets of paper all around me. and it was like about 21 pages of my rap sheet. And when I finished putting them all around, I said, you know what these are? I said, this is my rap sheet. Every crime I've done is on the floor. And so I'm talking a little bit more, and then I start dropping another stack of papers on the floor and what have you. And I think it was like about 25. It was a small quantity more than my rap sheet. And I said, these are my accolades. These are all the certificates I got, all the acknowledgments I got. I said, now, do you want to judge me on my rap sheet, or you want to judge me on the positive things that I've done since I've been out? You see, and that's the same thing. Like as far as judging, we tend to want to judge people on the perception of how it is that they want to. That's more comfortable for them to think of us or remember us as. It's a lot more easy to think of me as a criminal. It's a lot more easy to think of me as someone who's moving too fast. It's a lot easier to think of me as a pharmacist. It's a lot easier to think of me as someone who's in prison. It's a lot more comfortable. I don't have to explain nothing. They know everything. But then to explain to them about the things you've done and whatever, most of the time they don't want to hear. But it's interesting. In the Philippines, it's like I was telling Diamond a joke yesterday. I got up. I said, Diamond, tell me a joke. Because I like to start each day with a laugh. We had a habit. When we get up in the morning, I would get up in the morning because I get up like 11 or 12, and she might wake up and she'll lay in bed on the phone. On her Facebook. So I said, look, so now we get in the habit that when she wakes up, she comes and she sits on the couch with me. And if she's looking at her phone, at least we're together. At least we're sitting together, we're talking. I might be watching Roland Martin, which is something that's important because Trump has done it again. Him calling some of the countries of the Caribbeans and what have you, asshole countries, or in South America, asshole countries. And, it's unfortunate that he does that. And Roland Martin is right. He says people are going to be outraged for 72 hours. And then the people who were in the room when he said it, those politicians are not acknowledging it. One of them said, okay, well, I stated how I felt about it to him. Well, then him is not enough. You're not accountable to him. You're accountable to the people of the United States, the people who put you there, your constituents. Those are who you are held accountable to. You know what I'm saying? But, like he says, it's no surprise. You should be no surprise to what Trump's going to say. He's trying to normalize how he feels about certain people. We want more of the people from Norway to come to the country. Let's have more of them. It doesn't surprise me that that eventually you're gonna say nigger. You know what I'm saying? And because it's okay. If Trump says it now, it's okay. We can go back to when America was great again. When we can go back and the normacy of what they used to and how they treat blacks. And Roland Martin was speaking about when Martin Luther King, speaking how Martin Luther King is coming up. If you go to my SGIB MAG on TV / the THEG spot GEESPOT spot. That's my other YouTube channel. And if you go there, I have a shot of Clayton Powell. Clayton Powell was one of the first black congressmen, I think, of Harlem in New York or whatever. And he's speaking about David. David's facing this giant, and he's saying, "Oh God, how can I defeat this giant?" And God says, "What's in your hand?" And he says, so David, opened his hand, and he had a rock. Put a rock in his hand. He slung that rock and slinged it and hit David and killed Goliath and hit Goliath and killed Goliath. And also there, I think it was Paul, Apostle Paul, who was in prison, and he said, "Oh Lord, what can I do?" And the Lord said to him, "What's in your hand?" He said, "Oh Lord, all I have is this quill pen." He said, "Oh," and the Lord told him, "Well, write." And that's what he wrote. "The Lord is my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He leadeth me behind the path still." So you see, the whole thing is about what's in your hand? And he was somewhere in the South or somewhere where they were voting. He was saying, don't feel discouraged. Don't feel you have, that other people have more than you have. He says, what's in your hand? Look what's in your hand. In your hand, you have the power to vote. In your hand, you have the power to make a difference. Just as any rich man would, or any poor man would, or any black man would, or any white man would, or anyone would. We all have the same power. We all have the same power to vote and make that vote count and make a difference. And that's what Roland Martin is trying to perpetuate, and that's what he's trying to get out. When he spoke to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, he says, I forgot where he was in Alabama, most places Alabama. He said, wish Dr. King and all his agitators get out of Alabama so we can go back to our normacy. And Dr. King said, your normacy is what, the bombing of 3 young girls in a church, the lynching of black people, or the beating death of someone else, or the hose on Selma. This is your normacy. You want to get back to your normacy. You want them to stop marching. You want them to stop, protesting, so you can get back to doing things like that. That's your normacy. And Dr. King says that will never happen again. There will never be your normacy to be able to do what you've done, to blacks in the past. And we must do everything we can to make sure it's not our normacy again. That we're not, we have the power. Trump is just, if anything, he's the lightning rod. Not just the blacks, but the Puerto Ricans, Asians, all the people who have benefited from the civil rights movement. Let me say that. All the people who have benefited from the civil rights movement. So you think the civil rights was about blacks? No. The civil rights also opened the door for women, women's rights. That was their civil rights. Gays' rights, and a number of other people fell underneath that umbrella, when the civil rights took place. So it wasn't just about blacks. It's about civil rights for everyone. So everyone is equal. It's funny because when I was I was trying to get a business loan, VA business loan. I was encouraged to do so for my magazine. So I go to a bank. I got a business plan. I come prepared. A business plan, my projections, my target audience, and etc. I got a plan. And so anyway, I'm talking to the banker, and the bank is showing me people who he have given loans to. And I said, oh, so he's showing me he gave a loan to this woman, she's black, to open up a daycare. A loan to this woman, she's black, gave it to her for her to open up a laundromat. And he kept showing me loans that he had granted to women. And so I said to him, look, I don't mean any disrespect, but can you show me where you've given black men loans to start their businesses? And he couldn't. He couldn't, and he didn't. So when you talk about the civil rights and you talk about equality, we have to remember on this Martin Luther King Day is that a new idea must be put forward that it's important for you to vote. There's no more complaining. He talked about Oprah Winfrey running for president. He says, why are we even engaging in that conversation? That conversation is 3 years or 2 years away before Oprah runs. If you're sitting around talking about what Oprah Winfrey would do if she became president, you're wasting your time. This is what they want you to talk about, because they take your mind off of local elections. So the black women came forward. A lot of black organizations, women got a lot of recognition for mobilizing, the votes and change in Alabama when they wanted that pedophile to become congressman. So I'm going to end with this. Oh wait, I'm going to tell you about the joke. I'm going to end with this. Focus on your local elections, your school boards, your dog catchers, your town hall meetings. Focus on those and look at people who have your interests in mind. Hey Janet, who have your interests in mind, and get behind them, to make a difference and vote. Okay, all right. Now, so Diamond and I are sitting on the couch, and I'm telling Diamond, tell me a joke, and she didn't know. I said, okay, I have a joke. Give me a Diamond. So I said, I have a joke. So I said, okay, I'll tell you the joke. I said, okay, this guy comes home, and he has a shoebox in his hand, and he has a shoebox that has all these holes poked in it. And so, so I had to take my time and explain to about the shoebox. The whole oh yeah, no, not a shoebox. A box shoe? No, something. I had to say. She's saying a shoebox now, but I had to phrase it another way for her to get shoebox. And so I said it had a skunk inside, and she didn't know what a skunk was. I said, you don't know what a skunk is? I said, oh man, this joke gonna be harder than I thought. So I showed her, Google what a skunk is, and showed her what a skunk is. She still didn't know what it was. I said, okay, a skunk is an animal, that has this foul odor that it emits that stinks. The spray to ward off its, any type of danger coming to it. And she said, oh no. She said, goat. Goat's beard. She said, like goat beard. I said, a goat beard? She said, yeah, goat beard is very stinky. I said, okay.
That's why he changed.
Yeah. So I said, let me see how I'm going to make this joke work now. So I said, okay, this guy came home and he brought this goat home, this male goat home. And so his wife said, what are you going to do with that goat? So he says, well, he's going to stay with us. So she says, where is he going to sleep? And he says, in the bedroom with us. So she says, what about that smell? And the goat, and he says, let him get used to it like I did. So she finally got it. So that was a joke, substituting skunk for goat. So anyway, this is Gerard, editor-in-chief of Filipino Soul Magazine. Remember, dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect the elderly, and always pull someone up. And sometimes you're the only one to see your vision. And if you haven't got a dream, a goal, an idea, train of thought, don't worry about it. Do what I used to do. Get as much you can, as fast as you can, and go home. And remember, I always love you more. And if you're lucky enough to have a woman like Ollie Woodson once sung, lead singer of The Temptation, treat her like a like a lady.
Like a doggy.
Right, yeah. Yeah, man. Ladies, if you have lucky enough to have a good man like me, treat him like a doggy. She's right about that. Treat him, make him feel like a king. Okay, I love you like a love song, baby. And this has been your moment of Zen. We'll talk to you later. Peace. Bow.
Oh, my joke is very